Now, welcome to Let's Talk Some Star Wars, or maybe we should call Let's Talk Some Ahsoka pregame show,
Pre-game.
where we're going to look at some of the comments left on the video from the other day when we gave our predictions for the finale. We're going to look at some of your predictions and just kind of general thoughts going into this last episode in a few hours, really.
Really, yeah.
Or maybe you've already seen it and you're watching it after and can laugh at all of us. So yeah, why don't we just jump right into the comments and get the party started.
First comment of interest from Simon Yesh. I don't want Shin to be redeemed. She should evolve as a character, but that doesn't mean she needs to join Ahsoka.
Well, there are some who think that Shin is the new Mara Jade.
That there's a lot of similarities between her character and Mara Jade from the original Timothy Zahn Thrawn trilogy.
I don't really see it, but she could be a similar role, which would require redemption eventually.
Eventually, but I feel like if her character's going to be redeemed, I want her to come to that conclusion on her own, not be like, Ahsoka's holding out her hand and I'm going to take it. No, I want her to be like, look at what my master is doing. Let's, if Balon is doing something that could be very dangerous, look at what the Empire is doing and change herself.
Had she taken Ahsoka's hand, I would have turned the show off and not gone back for episode 8. That would have been the dumbest thing ever.
It's funny because we all wanted Rey to take Kylo's hand and join the Empire, but we don't want Shin taking Ahsoka's hand.
You want them
to
fail, right? That's part of the experience. Part of the journey is the defeat and then the overcoming, not just like I get everything right the first time around.
I want Shin, if she's going to be redeemed, I want her to make her own decision to change her path.
Well, sure, but things will have to influence that along the way, and that's usually other people or something.
But I'd like it to be like maybe she realizes she's on the wrong side, or she sees what Balin's doing and whatever he's up to is causing some sort of mass destruction indiscriminately or something, and she's like, you know what? I'm on the wrong side here.
You want to go like Gamora, huh?
Maybe.
Where you kind of realize your adoptive father is insane?
Yeah.
And you kind of got to stop him
or
from
she
destroying
realizes
half the
that
universe?
Following Thrawn isn't her path either, and maybe her path is her own. Whether it be light side, dark side, or orange saber middle, I guess.
Better yet, she never gets redeemed.
No, let her just do her own thing.
She's a baddie. Let her die a baddie.
So no, heartless.
I'm serious. Every now and then you just want that villain that just doesn't have second thoughts or regrets. Palpatine.
We had one
you think
of those.
Palpatine ever laid awake at night thinking, God, I made mistakes. I hate who I am today. No, he slept well. That man slept well because he was confident in his evilness. He was happy with it.
Yeah, so did Captain Phasma.
Who?
Yeah, you know who. You know who I'm talking about. Somehow Captain Phasma returns.
She did return.
They had to make a comic explaining how come she returned.
They did. She got out of the trash compactor.
She should have won round 1.
Her book was good, though.
Her book was good.
We do mention that from time to time. It is a very good book. Her book is one of the bright spots.
It makes me really like her as a character, and then I remember the movies, and I was like, oh yeah.
Oh, she's good. I mean, she's really good. It explains. Well, it doesn't really explain her in the movies because the movies just they don't do anything with her. So
no, they give her this epic backstory.
If you would have read that book before the movies, or when you saw her in that first trailer, and then you read this book, you're like, oh my God, we got such a great character.
So much on Team Phasma.
Yeah, let's get back to Team Ahsoka.
Next comment is from Captain DC. Hopefully Thrawn gets his big brain moment. Boy, I hope so, because he hasn't had that yet. He's been explaining his losses. I want him to explain his intricate victory, or how he's been setting up something this entire time.
Yes.
Like that when he gets back to the universe, bam, things are going to happen because his plan is nuts.
Canon Thrawn, at least in Rebels and this, has been I lost, but here's why, and here's why it'll pay off later. That has been him in Rebels and this show thus far. It didn't go as I planned, but guess what? It will next time, I promise.
It only helped me further my next plan. I'm like, come on, guy.
He needs just a flat-out win. And, not just a win, but, a definitive, I really put them in their place win and killed somebody win.
Wow. Killed somebody.
I don't think it's going to happen, but I think that it certainly helps solidify your villain.
You got really serious, though.
Well, I'm serious about Thrawn. It's I've been waiting a long time to see him in live action, and now we got him, and it's let's do it right.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it right. Not that he's a villain per se, but you get me.
Next comment is from Jason McEwen. The connection to Skeleton Crew could be that they're trapped on Perdia until the crew arrives and is their lifeboat. I like it.
It's probably right.
It's probably
right.
It makes sense, because you want to tie these things together. Maybe there's a threat out there that Ahsoka can help them with, and then they can kind of hitch a ride.
I think it's going to be like a Lost in Space type thing, right? And eventually they somehow end up in another galaxy right where Ahsoka is. And they take him home. Take her home.
What if there's like some strange thing where a Purgle grabs him and just drags him off?
No, let's not.
Do that again?
No,
or
we're done with the Purgle.
What if when the Eye of Sion goes through, somehow they get like caught in the wake of it and it throws them? And then the show could start kind of showing preview up to the point, and then they get sucked through. And
one could ask why the X-Wings and Hera's ship, or the Ghost, I should say, didn't get...
coming back with a bigger ship now?
No, but I mean, they got caught in the wake. They literally got caught in the wake, and they didn't get flung, and there were no other ships, so...
I don't know. We'll just hold them maneuver. It's fine.
Oh.
Well, somehow the skeleton crew got there. That's all you have to do.
You can't just say somehow in Star... That word is banned from Star Wars. We've discussed this. Somehow, we have to stop saying somehow and give real explanations.
Next comment from Jerugalo. If Baylan trained Shin to be something more than a Jedi, it seems strange for him to just go be another Darksider working for the new Empire. Seems strange for someone who still has respect for the Jedi. It does.
It's a little odd.
It is.
I liked I liked how they parted, but then, as pointed out here, it's like, well, he trained her to be something more, but then he's like, yeah, I guess you have ambition to just be that, so go be that. Fine.
Yeah, I didn't train you to be a Jedi. You're something more.
Yeah.
And then just drop it?
Yeah, but it could be that he is, like, sending her to the Empire to eventually work her way up. She wants power, so it's like, you know, you come in at the ground floor, and then you work your way up, and eventually you are running the show.
It just seems very
but it still
cold
seems...
to just, like, dismiss her like that.
Well, she only seemed upset that he wasn't going to help. She's like, oh, you're not going to help? We're just going to sit here?
She didn't say it quite like that.
She kind of did say it like that, actually.
But it could have just been a test.
I don't think it was a test. I think he realized, like, she's not interested in what he's interested in. She just wants power.
Well, he doesn't tell her what he's interested in, so how is he supposed to really gauge if she is interested?
Because you can just tell.
You don't tell, you don't know.
I don't know. It seemed like he came to the conclusion, like, we want different things, and here's your chance to go get what you want, and here's my chance to get what I want, and that's it. And she was like, fine, I guess. She didn't seem too upset. She didn't seem upset about it.
Not immediately, no, but...
She may come to regret it. Or may seek him out later on if she gets stuck here. I'm sure that won't be the final meeting between them.
I hope not. Our next comment is from Matthew Tater. Maybe the power Baylan feels keeps balance on the planet and only will allow 3 Night Sisters and the rest of their civilization is in hibernation in the boxes. This would also explain why Thrawn is waiting off planet and is in such a rush to leave.
I want to know where he was. Where did he come from at the start of that episode?
Yeah, he was on his ship somewhere else and then came over.
Yeah, what does his day-to-day look like? What has he literally been doing in the last 10 years?
The whole planet is weird. The Dark Sisters are like running from something. They're worried about something, it seems. The Night Sisters, sorry.
Probably the same thing Baylan is after.
Right. But then there's like random bandits that live there and a bunch of crab people.
Yeah,
who seem really happy, too. But they're also very mobile. Is it just they're mobile because of the bandits, or is there something else that they have to keep moving?
I would imagine, like, if you're some kind of supreme power, you don't really care much about what the crab people are up to.
But if you're some sort of supreme darkness, you don't care. You kill indiscriminately.
Yeah.
Crab people.
I just don't know how the crab people are, like, running from some sort of extreme power that we're supposed to find threatening. Crab people are eluding them. I don't know that I'm too scared of whatever it is.
It might just be...
No disrespect, crab people.
What if it's more of like an environmental factor? Like, if you stay somewhere too long, it's going to get you.
You would
and
think
if you keep
Ezra
moving,
mentions that, right? We have to move because
I don't know. Sabine didn't mention her problem.
Yeah, well, we could probably get to that in the comments, but...
Just saying, maybe if he didn't want to mention bad stuff to her, because he's like, yeah, we're leaving, we're getting out of here. Maybe she doesn't want to mention to him, it's a thing.
No one wants to talk to each other anymore.
No.
Tragedy. Ever told you
if you would give them both cell phones, they probably would have texted each other already.
Oh, they would have been texting back and forth across the galaxies.
No, they would have been texting next to each other in the front seat of
the,
the RV there.
God, you see that way too often. Like, people literally sitting next to each other. Like, on a date or whatever it might be is the worst. When you have 2 people across the table at a restaurant and they're texting. Mm-hmm. Ugh. Come on, people.
Next from Michael Martin. My prediction is Thrawn and the Night Sisters get back to the main galaxy, while Ahsoka and crew are left stranded on Perdia, and they will meet up with someone, a surprise cameo of some sort, who will lead them to a gateway to the world between worlds. It ends there.
Do you think you can get back home through the world between worlds? You think like Ahsoka is going to be like, yeah, I can get us home?
I mean, every time we've seen somebody come out, it's where they came in.
Sure, but this is Ahsoka.
It's hard to say. I mean, if there's an entrance here, what's to say you can't go to an entrance elsewhere? Like, if the Thal Temple still existed, why not get out on that side?
Why not? Like, Ezra shoved his hand through a portal and pulled her out of a moment on Malachor. Mm-hmm. What's to say he couldn't have just popped out and said, hello, Darth?
Because that would have sounded bad.
Well, that's what Kenobi called him in New Hope, so...
But that hadn't happened yet.
No, it hadn't, but it had at the same time. But no,
it's an interesting theory, though.
I wonder if we will see more World Between Worlds, or if that was it. Like, for a long time, if not kind of ever.
It's hard to say, because Filoni kind of just brings things out when he needs to.
Yes.
Like, that was his Worlds Between Worlds moment. Who knows when he'll feel he needs to do something like that again.
Yeah, I mean, how much do you want to explore it, and how much... all these rumors, or not rumors, but I should say theories about the mother, like, how much do you want to go into that, and how much just do you want to leave it extremely vague and never really tackle some of these things? And just, when you need it, like you said, like, you needed it in Episode 5, you bring in Anakin and you do these cool Clone Wars things, and that's it. It's not really something meant to be explained, it's meant to be used.
I'm actually hoping we get another season of Tales of the Jedi.
We are. It's confirmed.
I want it to be what happened to Ahsoka after she came out of the World Between Worlds, after Ezra saved her.
That would be cool.
I would love to see what happened to her next, because we don't have anything but what happened to her. The last one you see her in Rebels until you see her in the Rebels epilogue. Next comment is from Raider Love. I would like to see Ezra be angry with Sabine when and if she tells him that she's responsible for Thrawn's return. In my opinion, it wouldn't be realistic if Disney and Lucasfilm just ignore that conversation.
I think they may ignore that conversation.
I'm worried that they might. I mean, they ignored the first meeting of Ahsoka and Luke, so why not ignore this really pivotal conversation where we saw them deliberately avoid it once?
Filoni has kind of done this before, I think, where you kind of avoid a conversation and imply it took place and then deal with the aftermath instead. I could certainly see this episode
way of saving time.
Beginning with Ezra
being
mad,
upset,
and they're kind of they're all kind of at odds with each other, kind of as opposed to how the episode ended, because they had the conversation. Ahsoka isn't going to play along, right? She's not going to be. It's complicated, Ezra. I can't tell you either.
Well, it's exposition we don't technically need, because we know what happened as the audience. So there's nothing wrong, I guess, with skipping it and jumping straight into the aftermath of the conversation.
Yes, I mean, yes and no. As long as you deal with the direct aftermath, not just imply, like, she's been mad at him for the day and, then later on she forgives him, or vice versa, he forgives her, I should say. And
yeah.
I don't know. It's one of those things where it's, you kind of want to see that moment.
Next comment from Roger Palsgrove. Right now, I'm seeing a runtime of 46 minutes for episode 8. I really have no clue how to predict this one. I could see Morgan dying in the finale, though, most likely by Ahsoka's hand.
Yeah, we got that big battle that's supposed to happen between those two, right?
Right, we talked about this. There was an interview with the actress who plays Morgan Elsbeth saying that they had a lot of work to do doing a fight sequence and that it was supposed to be better than the one that was in the Mando.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, she'll probably use some magic this time, unlike in
I hope so, because she's been a very disappointing Night Sister.
Yeah, she's just been the Thrawn right hand, answers the question or asks the questions of Thrawn, and then Thrawn gets to explain himself person.
I've been disappointed with the Night Sisters in general because they haven't really done a lot of cool stuff yet. That's like just kind of there.
They got their balls. They play with their balls.
Yeah, because they're just being the witches from Macbeth.
Yeah.
Filoni and Favreau and sometimes forget that these great references they're referring to, nobody cares.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, it's kind of cool you include stuff, but then when you go so far as to use quotes from Pablo Picasso and a French king, no, we don't care. Or if your name Enoch has biblical significance, that doesn't add much to the show. He's done a
lot of that.
It doesn't. It's not adding to the show.
All of these things.
Yeah, Balin and Shin references to the wolves that chase the sun and the moon.
I would much rather have completely new and original names and things instead of trying to use these historical names and stories and myths and all that.
No,
I get Star Wars is based on myth and all that. Don't get me wrong, but just make new stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because then people read into it way too much and it doesn't mean anything.
Well, and there's no reason to compare the witches to the Macbeth witches. They don't need to be that.
No, they should
be
Night Sisters.
They're just Night Sisters.
We've seen Night Sisters before, and we've seen them be cooler than these three Night Sisters. Mm-hmm. Like we said, Merrin would just whoop all their asses. It wouldn't be funny.
I
like,
get
what are
that
you three
CGI
doing?
costs money and stuff.
It does, yeah.
But come on. Make these people threats. Show off what they can really do.
They pinpointed Ahsoka, but
That's
can't
not that
pinpoint
exciting.
Ezra. It shows that they have power, but...
But Ahsoka somehow didn't realize that while she was searching in the Force for the Sabine, that they were in the Force searching for her.
Well, you know.
Well.
I think we got time for one more final comment, maybe?
Alright, we're going to end it with this last comment from Kiyose. You may have to pause the video to read it. It's quite long. But the gist of it, I think, is interesting. It's about Shin getting to kill Sabine in the finale. Kind of as like the coup de grace. I mean, Shin was going after this whole time. This could be the aftermath of Ezra and Sabine. They're kind of like, oh, well, we're not really friends right now. There's betrayal, and Shin just destroys Sabine with the lightsaber.
Now we got some Shakespearean stuff going on here, it sounds like.
Well, they also describe it kind of like poetry. It rhymes. I mean, this is going to be similar in effect to Qui-Gon and Maul's fight, where Ezra gets there maybe a little too late. And,
yeah. I mean, I have no idea if this will come to pass or if any of the things we have predicted or anybody else has predicted, but I will say something needs to happen in this finale.
Yeah, we can't just go on and go, all the characters are still fine, they're all protected.
Yes. There has to be some sort of...
Consequence.
There's the perfect word. We need consequences for the show. Something needs to have come of it in the end. Not just Thrawn gets home, but something else.
Right. Whether we learn what Balin's plot is, or we actually see a character death.
Yeah, because if it's as simple as Thrawn just wins and goes home, which I do hope is what happens, mind you, we didn't exactly need to see that. You could have just implied Thrawn got home. Somehow. But you know what I mean?
Yes.
Because if nothing happens, if it was just this kind of simple story of Thrawn getting home, it's like, well, why spend 8 episodes and an entire series on just that? Was it just about showing Ahsoka and Anakin and having... I mean, was it just about member berries at that point?
Could be.
You know, are we just... Oh, yeah, we found Ezra and Sabine and we answered that story, and but nothing really significant beyond that happened. Not to warrant an entire series. But anyway, we'll find out in a couple hours, basically, from the time of this recording going live.
Absolutely we will.
And we will be discussing it in length, both on my channel and on this one, I'm sure.
And if you're a member of Patreon, Wednesday night voice
That's
chat,
right.
We're going to be hitting it hard.
We will. I'm sure we're going to have a lot to discuss.
It'll be a rousing discussion, as they
I know it will be.
Are.
They always are. Yes, we have some great people to chat with Star Wars in the Patreon or the Discord. All right, well, that's all we got for you this time. Now it's your turn to take to the comments below and tell us what you think of these predictions, or give us your final one before it goes live tonight. Whatever the case may be, leave those comments below. Let's talk some Star Wars. And until next time, thanks for watching.